a lot of what is said by the environmental NGOs and picked up by the Western press are not true.
If you look at what WWF has said, from 1990 to year 2010, just over 300 million hectares of forests were cleared worldwide. You ask the general layman down on the street and they'll think, my God, how many percent is done by palm oil? Maybe 30, 40, 50% maybe a bit more, who knows? Of that 300 million hectares, it's not even 3%. But it's conveyed and sold to the media in such a way that it is viewed as if palm oil is the main driver of deforestation. The typical sentiment in the West, whether it's Europe or the US, if you mention deforestation, many people will immediately think, oh, that's cutting down rainforests, killing orangutans. Immediately that's the sentiment. But suspicion is not the same as substantiation. And that is where the problem lies sometimes. I'll be the first to say, we are not perfect. The industry can always do things better. The main thing is, are we open towards that? Are we looking at this in a constructive light? Are we willing to move forward? And are we willing to have some self-mitigative measures whereby we can go back and maybe correct or adjust or calibrate certain issues which maybe should not have been done like they were in the past? It has to be put together in form of a socio-economic perspective. It has to be put together from economical viability perspective, and finally also the environmental, reputability. The Food and Agricultural Organization just last year went out and reaffirmed its commitment, even in spite of the economic downturn, that world food production would have to increase by 70% within the next 38 years, namely by 2050, in order to meet the growing demand from an increasing world population. World total agricultural land today, about 1.5 billion hectares. 1.5 billion hectares. Malaysia has only 33 million hectares. 1.5 billion hectares is farmed. How much of that is actually farmed with oil palm? It's not even 1%. But that 1% of agriculture today produces 31% of the world's total oils and fats.
1 hectare of palm oil today average 4 tons of oil, but in future you can go to at least Dato' Carl Benson, his plantation at least 5 tons or 6 tons, but only 5 to 6 tons possible. So in terms of productivity is 10 times more than soybean.
If you look at the real net imports, which I often show in my blog and so on, there's only palm oil that is in a position of net import availability or net export availability from Malaysia and Indonesia. All the other countries are net importers. And what do they have to import? Palm. Okay. So this is confirming my idea that if we have to expand consumption by 6 million tons a year, it's only palm oil that can help supply the chronic deficit importers around.
How to tackle the communication and constructive engagement with the scientists. Because at the end of the day, it is scientific fact which can help us combat whatever negative.